No, we're live, Chair, if you want to start.
Okay, so first of all, welcome to the Cabinet Petitions Committee today. In accordance with the local government authorities, police and crime panels, coronavirus flexibility of local government, and police and crime panels meeting, England and Wales, regulations 2020, this meeting has been held virtually to facilitate attendance and enable the consideration of important matters during the current COVID-19 situation. The meeting therefore operated differently in that members of the Cabinet joining in remotely are still able to make contribution and vote on any matter. I would ask all attendees tuning in to mute their microphones unless they have been invited to speak. If there is more than one of you here for a petition, then you must adopt one person to speak on behalf of all of you. You must make all relevant points known at this stage, and you will not be able to speak again unless asked a question. Please note that the petitioners have up to 5 minutes to address the committee. Once the petition has been considered, you may leave or stay for the rest of the proceedings. If you decide to leave, please do so quietly so that you do not disrupt the proceedings. If anyone wishes to speak, please use the hand up icon or send a message using the message icon indicating your wish to speak, and I will invite you to turn your microphone at the appropriate point. When you are finished speaking, please remember to turn off your microphone again. Please note that this meeting has been live streamed via the Council's website, and you will be able to view it, will be available to view by members of the public and the press who are allowed to, by law, to film, audio record, take photographs, blog or tweet during the meeting. Before we start, can I ask all members of the committee to introduce themselves? I will start with myself. I am Councillor Ali, and I'm the Cabinet Member for Resources and Core Services and Chair of this meeting. Councillor Taylor.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Councillor Jackie Taylor, Cabinet Member for Sustainable Transport here in Sandwell.
Councillor Millard.
Councillor Millard, Cabinet Member for Inclusive Economic Growth.
And I see that we've got Councillor Baba, but I don't think he's here on behalf of the committee, maybe on behalf of residents. So I just want to, but just out of courtesy, introduce Councillor Baba, Councillor Baba Dalu, who's a councillor for West Bromwich Central.
Yes, my name is Councillor Dalu. I'm not a member of the committee. I'm speaking on behalf of the residents of Sandwell Valley and representing West Bromwich Central Ward. Thank you, Chair.
No problem at all. So we are also joined by Robin Weaver from the Highways team and Trish Newton from Democratic Services. Thank you for your assistance during this meeting, guys. Great to have you on board. So let's move on to the agenda. Apologies for absence. Do you have any apologies, Trish?
No, we don't have any apologies, Councillor Ali.
Perfect. Okay. So the minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of February 2020 are presented. I move them as a correct record. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that, Chair. I was actually at that meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Item number 3, members to declare any interest in matters to be discussed at the meeting. Does anybody have any interest to declare? No? That's fine. Thank you very much. So item number 4, petitions progress report. Trish, who do we have to present?
Thanks, Chair. Yes, for the €5.11 Europa, we've got Councillor Dalu.
Okay.
For 512, we've got Mr. Poulton present, and for 531, we've got Aaron Prakash present.
Fantastic. Okay, so 5.1.1, Councillor Dalu, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. You let me speak. Can you hear me?
Yes, well, I can.
Thank you for letting me speak. Speaking on behalf of the residents of Sandwell Valley, they have raised a petition with 118 signatures, and they are asking for cleanliness of that area and improve the quality of that area. As we know that due to the Vision 2030, and we have to meet those visions. That's why I request the committee although we are going through the very bad period, but still it's been going on a long time before the lockdown in March. I request the committee to do these things sooner as possible, because ambition number 2, 5, 7, 8 and 10, according to those, and also Sandwell got a reputation to getting the things done. So I request the committee to keep these things so that residents are happy and have a happy, long and healthy life. Thank you, Chair and committee.
Thank you, Councillor Dalu. Do any of the committee members or officers want to say anything at this point? No? Okay. Well, Councillor Dalu, thank you so much for your report there. In terms of the council, so the council will be making arrangements by the park section for a deep clean of the Brook course and the surrounding green corridor over the autumn, early winter period of 2020. Is that okay, Councillor Dalu? So you appear to be on mute.
Right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Listening to me, I hope my request will be done and residents' request will be done soon as possible because it's been going on a long time. Thanks.
No problem. Well, we're due to go there in autumn, early winter, so hopefully it shouldn't be too long.
Sorry?
We're due to do a deep clean there over the autumn/winter period, so hopefully it shouldn't be too long. Okay, thank you. Right, next we've got 5.1.2. Mr. Poulton?
Yes, I'm here. Can you all hear me?
Yes, yes we can.
Yes. Could I just ask before I start, did you receive the photographs that I sent of the bend and the offending pavement or lack of pavement on the Oakham Road?
Yes, I have. Have the other colleagues got them for email? Yeah.
Yes, Chair, I've received that.
Oh, right. Okay, so you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, I'm speaking on behalf of the residents of the Oakham Road who live in this area, and I've collected their thoughts on this problem. So I've got them listed here, so I'll just read them out. I think I've got a few minutes to do that, yeah? Yeah. Okay, right. So the aim, obviously, is to improve the safety for pedestrians on the overgrown area on the north side of Oakham Road, fronting 139 and 141, which we think should be removed and the pavement should be joined up. And then I've said, please refer to the photographs. Now, the reasons why this is necessary: where the pavement ends, there's a blind bend restricting the view when looking up from the Dudley direction. Anyone approaching from this direction on the pavement on the north side has to negotiate crossing over to the south side, only have to cross back again to visit the Co-op, White's Vet Surgery, the doctor's surgery, the fish and chip shop and the charity shop. Now, as our government is at the moment encouraging us to walk more, the least that can be done is to make sure that there are good pavements for people to do so on. Now, crossing this road is particularly hazardous for elderly people. Those who have mobility issues, pushchair users, people with young children, dog walkers, etc. In one instance, and this is the elderly residents at 121 Oakham Road, they've had to resort to using a taxi to safely get them to the GP surgery, which is approximately 100 metres away from where they live. In addition, drivers who live along the section of road between Dundas Avenue and this overgrown site are facing danger every time they leave their drives to get onto Oakham Road. Some of them have to back out onto the road. With more people now using their cars instead of public transport, this road has in recent months seen an increase in traffic, particularly during the rush hours in the morning and evening. At other times of day, the night issues then become speeding motorists, dangerous driving. Residents along Oakham Road are very much aware of the number of vehicles ignoring the 30 mph speed limit on this road, and at times we've watched vehicles estimated to be travelling well in excess of the speed limit, and we often see buses and lorries being overtaken despite there being double white lines near the bend and a continuous strip of red tarmac when the boundary is crossed into the Dudley area. Because of the overgrown vegetation outside 139, 141, drivers coming up the Oakham Road from the Dudley direction are unaware that there's a bus stop and a pedestrian crossing almost immediately after passing the blind bend, and often cars have to brake quite sharply, either because there's a stationary bus or someone has walked on the pedestrian crossing. And 3 safety measures suggestions that have been given to me are adopting a similar road layout to the one used in Throne Road, installing speed bumps or installing speed cameras, and that sums everything up.
Thank you, Mr. Poulton. So, are there any comments from committee members or officers at this point? No?
Chair,
Yeah.
Cabinet Member for Sustainable Transport, Jackie Taylor here. Obviously, I've had a look at these pictures and I can see the danger actually of this overgrowth here. And I think for me, I'd like to ask who actually owns the property at 139 and 141?
All right. I'm not. Just a sec. I'll just have to do it now.
I don't need names, so I just need to know if it's privately owned property.
Yeah, they are privately owned properties. Now, whether they actually own the piece of land that fronts the Oakham Road or not, we don't know. You can see a retaining wall at the front of both these houses, but the vegetation is so overgrown that you can't work out exactly what the situation is there.
Thank you.
Okay, so our response in relation to that matter is, so the matter has been investigated by officers and an update will be submitted to you, Mr. Poulton, at a future meeting. If you just allow us a bit of time to investigate the matter with our officers, and hopefully we'll have an update for you at the next meeting, if that's okay.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Of course, if there's anything in the meantime, please do send it via the process. So, if there's any additional information or anything that you want to send across to us,
yeah,
you're more than welcome to do so. So just
would it be in our interest to find out who actually owns that piece of land by asking the two people who live there?
I think if you allow the council to investigate, probably just be a bit better. But they'll have a database and whatnot. So I'm sure Jackie and her colleagues will be able to look into that. But,
right, thank you very much indeed.
And no problem at all. No problem at all. Okay, so we've got 5.3.1. Mr. Prakash.
Yes. Hello. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, sir. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Very good. So
Okay.
there's an issue in relation to business resident in the vicinity of Bridge Street, South Smelling. So over to you on this.
Right, sir. So, I mean, we spoke to you guys, I think, on sometime in February, because it has been going on since last October, November. So I've been trying to approach you guys to look into this matter, but due to this COVID and all this, everything has got delayed, and I couldn't get in touch with you. Right. Obviously, I was liaising with Ms. Shannon from the Highways Department. I've also met her. She gave me some kind of a challenge, so it's going to be very difficult for any vehicle to turn around all this. So we've already sent a video, like where even there's one of my neighbor who's got a bus company, so they maneuver it in a way that where the bus can easily go in, turn back, and go straight. So there shouldn't be any problem in terms of even if there is any cars parked towards my building, up to like 4 cars can park, because I've already parked my car, which is on, as you can see on the video, the white color car is mine. So I've literally parked in the middle, where one car behind that car can park, and before me, maybe 1 or 2 can park. Again, depends. So even if I could get three car parking space, which has got maximum 20 minutes or 25 minutes of parking time slot, that would be ideal for not even for only for my business, even for the other businesses which is in the road. Because for a business, I'm at the moment, like, I'm really struggling, because when people do come in, they get a ticket. Even day before yesterday, two of my customers, they got ticket. I know that they shouldn't be parking, but that's the only access. They have to come all the way, come in, and to park. So literally, one of the customer, they ordered food, went to the toilet, came back, and literally they got the ticket. So I'm losing customers on a day-to-day basis, which I'm already struggling at the moment. I've spent like nearly £70,000 to renovate the entire building, to do the business. But I'm not even making like £150 or £200 a day, because even people, they do come in, they quite liked our food, and we're also doing the delivery service. But on top of it, when they come in, they couldn't sit down and enjoy the meal or anything as such. So, but by allowing this parking space, even the 3 cars, that will for my business. Or even if you guys, obviously we also thought about the other thing is there is already a bollard there. So even if you can just clear that, if you can't provide the parking space, But if that road can go through straight, where sometimes we recently we're getting a lot of traffic jam there. So I don't know whether if it is something, just a suggestion, because I don't know much about the highways or how things work. But if you guys wanted to take that bollard off where you can have the straight through, so they can also, that is also connected to the other roads as well. So that could also split the traffic. Just a suggestion.
Okay. Any comments from committee members or officers at this point? No. Robin, over to you.
Yeah, highways officers have investigated the situation there. The road has got double yellow lines along the one side, but there is parking available on the other side of the road. So there's not restrictions on the whole of the road. There is some parking available there at the moment. We've looked at the turning movements in the turning head area, and what we have to consider is not just buses that can turn around, but the road is used by heavy goods vehicles and bin lorries and other vehicles as well. So we've got a computer program that allows us to check out the turning movements of all the different types of vehicles that might use the road. And when we do that, we find out that the yellow lines are in the right place to stop, to prevent the parking where it would interfere with turning movements. We're also aware that on several occasions when we've been out there, when officers have been out there, there's been parking in the turning head and on the double yellow lines. So the more space that's restricted, the better, really, to provide some incentive for people not to park on the double yellow lines, to try and keep as much space free as possible. So there isn't any scope really to remove the double yellow lines without interfering with the requirements of other road users, particularly the larger vehicles that use the road. We have looked at the suggestion about opening up the end of the cul-de-sac to join onto Rolfe Street, but there's already a signalised junction there, so it would create an extra arm to the signalised junction, and the visibility is not very good coming out of Bridge Street South into the junction. Also, it would mean converting what's footway at the moment into carriageway, and it's likely that there are utility services in that piece of footway, so it would be quite an expensive scheme to do, to put the extra traffic lights in and to protect all the utility services in the footway. So we haven't really got a budget to do that, and we haven't got evidence or analysis to show that it's sensible really to take the double yellow lines out. So the suggestion really is to make do with the parking that's already available on the opposite side of the road, which is unrestricted at the moment.
Okay, sorry, can I speak, sir?
Yeah, sure. If you,
Yeah. So the first thing, the parking is actually the residents are using it, which is already most of the time the parking is already taken by the residents. That's number one. And number two is obviously we have tried. I mean, as the other gentleman did mention about the larger vehicle. First of all, as a bus company, when a bus can just go in and turn around and go back, I'm sure. I mean, we don't get any of the larger vehicles coming in, because I've been there since last September. It's going to be a year, so I haven't even seen any larger vehicle apart from the bus or the bin wagons. Even the bin wagons, they're reversing and they're coming in. Even when they take it from even my bins as well as residents' bins, they don't even come in and turn the car. They literally just reversing, coming and taking all the bins. So we haven't witnessed anything as a larger vehicle. And if there is any larger vehicle, I'm sure I mean, I've already got the petition from all the other businesses. They wouldn't have even signed up the paperwork if they are really, worried about, they're going to be a bigger vehicle or anything as such, because nobody objected for any of this on the entire road, including the residents. So, I mean, if it is more businesses there, in that road is only 3 businesses. One is a bus company, and 2 is what is it called, the double glazing company there, and 3rd is a garage, which is like they repair the cars. So for all the 3 business and the mine, so that's about it. So we have tried. We went in fact, even the bus company, they volunteered. They said no. When a bus can turn, then we don't have any problem. The person who was driving the bus. He's the owner. So that's the reason she demonstrated herself that, look, I can even come, because as a bus, that's like, it's a bigger vehicle. So when the bus can go in and turn back and go, so I don't understand, there's like, what's the other vehicles compared to the bus.
Okay, Mr. Prakash, what we'll do is, I think there needs to be, so there's an official response essentially, and I'll read you the official response from the council, and then we'll decide what we'll do from there. So the double yellow lines along with Bridge Street South assist with free flow of traffic. The removal of the parking restrictions in the turning head at the north of Bridge Street South is likely to compromise HGV turning movement in an industrial area. In addition to this, the removal of parking restrictions along the west side of the Bridge Street South will result in parking on both sides of the carriageway. This is likely to compromise access onto Bridge Street South for larger vehicles and also make it difficult for vehicles to access and ingress from the business premises. There is some parking provision which allows motorists to park alongside the east side of the Bridge Street South. It is not possible to use the grassed area of the land in the turning head for parking due to planning restrictions. So that's the official response from the council, Mr. Prakash.
That's right, sir. After the response only, I've taken the video. But if you can look into it, because this is just to challenge the response in terms of, look, okay, we have taken your points on consideration, but at the same time, that's where we challenged it. Look, whatever you say, fine, we'll take it on board, but we have practically done that.
Fine. Okay, Trish, what would be, if Mr. Prakash if he wants to do an into council's view, what would be the process in doing so?
Well, we have had Mr. Prakash before and done further investigations, so it's up to Robin whether he feels there's any merit in, if there's any further investigations we can do, or whether he thinks we've covered everything.
No, I think we've looked into it quite thoroughly and we've investigated all the possibilities there to assist with extra parking. But really, the recommendation is that we stick with the yellow lines that are there at the moment. They were installed originally following a public consultation which would have taken into account the views of all the road users and the frontages on the road. So everybody uses the road, their views would have been taken into account before the yellow lines were put down. They've been down for some time and we've checked and they're actually in the right place to ensure the best amenity and the best use of the road.
So, Mr. Prakash, yeah. So yes,
no, because even if you say so that you can't give me the parking space, but there is a land across there which is I've complained, I've contacted the council many times. It's been
Mr. Prakash.
Sorry.
Oh, you got cut off then. We've lost the end of that.
Sorry, madam, I can't hear you.
Oh, you got cut off. We didn't hear the end of what you said.
I said no, because we've been having problems that people are fly tipping. So I've been contacting the council almost every week, or whenever I see the drivers, I've asked them to clear it up because it is.
We've lost you again, Mr. Prakash.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Prakash, I think you're raising another matter. So you're raising a matter into fly tipping now, aren't you?
Raising a matter. I'm just saying there is a land which is already there, which belongs to the council, which I've already mentioned that in my email, plus also with your response. So at least for a time being, if you could, obviously nobody's using that land, but if it is for a time being that if I could use it, I mean, if you want me to give you in writing or anything, I can clean up the place. I'll make sure that I'll maintain it, and whenever you guys want it, you can take it back. But at the moment, it's a wasteland. There's nobody's. It's not good for no one. So, but at least I can just do it up and do the place. At least I can use that place as a parking, if possible, please.
Okay, I'm not sure what the process around that is. Obviously, in the response, the official response from the council is that's subject to planning application. But then again, it depends on who actually owns the land.
Because see, we don't mind if even my landlord is ready to buy that land.
Yeah,
to turn that into a parking.
Mr. Question, that's fine, but that's a different issue. So if you can raise that issue as a different matter, but we've dealt with the first matter, which we're in petitions committee for today. And then we can, you can look at the options in relation to that with the council. Is that, if that's okay? So what we'll do, we'll move on to the next item on here. We don't have anybody else who's speaking, do we, Trish?
No, that's the last one.
So we just proceed on to the next thing, don't we? We don't really.
To confirm, Chair, do you want to close that petition, but I'll progress with officers the query regarding the land, or do you want to leave it open?
Yeah, I think if we, because obviously, Robin's made it very clear, and obviously explored and back and forth. I think if we explore the other option that the gentleman's raised, we've got possibility for land for parking, and I think that could be a way forward. That's more realistic than going back and doing the same work, because obviously officers invested time and effort in exploring all the options, and unfortunately, it hasn't met with the needs of Mr. Crash. But there's reasons for that, and there's no point going back over the same work again. But if you look at the, in terms of future, if he's raised another issue, and if we explore that option, I think it'd be better.
Do you want it to come back to committee, or are you happy to close the petition and just follow that up separately?
What would be the normal process in this?
It's entirely up to the committee. If you want to come back to hear what the result of the investigation is, or if you think it's separate to the petition, we can close the petition, but obviously we'll progress it separately. And
as long as it's progressed, as long as it's progressed, that's fine. It doesn't need to come back to this committee.
Okay. So we'll be in touch with you further, Mr. Prakash, regarding the land.
So in terms of the parking space, so there's nothing you guys can do, is it?
No, unfortunately.
Just as a double line.
I know, Mr. Ash, I'm really sorry it's not better news today for you, but we've had officers do a lot of work into this to look at all the options, and like Trish said, this is not the first time this has come to us, so it's been looked at twice in relation to this. But you have proposed another option, and we've made a commitment that we will look into that option with you.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Prakash, we appear to have lost you.
Sorry, no, I didn't. The last point, what you mentioned, sorry.
Yeah, so the last point is that you proposed an option in relation to a piece of land which you wish the council to either lease to you or do some work with you on. We've made a commitment that we're going to look into that with you. So somebody will be in touch with you to look into that.
Yeah, that's at least that would help, because for a business, it's like particularly as a restaurant. So we can either if they want to sell it, I don't mind, or if they can lend it for some time. And I can clean up the place, and I'll make sure I'll maintain it. And then whenever you guys want it, I can give it back. That shouldn't be it.
But I don't know if that's allowed, but essentially we'll explore the options. We'll have somebody be in touch with you. Okay. Yeah, Trish, we'll have to move on that then, I think. Right, so the next bit. So Trish will confirm on which petition closure has been sought, and we'll call on committee members to confirm whether they agree that the following petition should now be closed. So Trish, over to you.
Thank you. In section 5.1 of the report, there are two new petitions. One of them remains under investigation and will come back to a future meeting. Approval is sought to close the other, which is the one which Councillor Dalu spoke on. In section 5.2 of the report, those petitions are outstanding, so an update will be brought back to a future meeting of the committee. The petitions outlined in 5.3 of the report are those petitions where closure is required for the reasons set out in the report. So I would ask each of you if you agree with the proposed action set out in the report. Councillor Ali, are you in agreement with the proposed action for those closed petitions?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Councillor Taylor, are you in agreement with the proposed actions?
Yes, for sure, I'm in agreement.
Councillor Millard, are you in agreement with the proposed actions?
Danny, you might be on mute.
Apologies, folks, my screen went off. I agree.
Okay, thank you. I can confirm that that's the end of the meeting, unless you've got anything else you want to raise.
No, just to thank everyone for attending, and the next meeting is scheduled for the 21st of October 2020. I hope to see you all there.
Thank you.
Councillor Taylor, sorry,
Yes.
Rob.